I'm Ashley Hodge. I'm a personal trainer and a competitive powerlifter. I've been personal training for over 13 years now. I primarily coach my clients, using strength training, and I have, gosh, I'd say about roughly even half and half online clients and in-person clients. And I started using Everfit in 2020.
What do you think is the biggest lesson that you have learned in coaching the past 5 years?
The client, they need that connection just as much as they need like a smart program. The human side of coaching is really what drive
Mm.
results.
And then if you have some advice for like a new coach, what are some kind of advice do you have for them to achieve the success that you have today?
My biggest advice, always stay curious. Ask questions, question methods. I feel like, again, you need to be constantly learning, reading research studies, making sure that you're training not just online clients, but in-person clients, which is really crucial. And maybe even involving yourself into sports so then that way you can really get into the nuts and bolts of like what someone else would feel like. But I personally do have my own powerlifting coach and I also have my own nutrition coach. And so again, like I'm definitely the mindset of like coaches need coaches too. I'm never going to stop learning.
We saw this on your website that, losing like 60 pounds and keeping it off for over a decade. And how did that experience really influence the way you coach others today?
Great question. So I understand how it feels to start from zero to feeling overwhelmed, not knowing what to do. And I feel like that really helped me to become more empathetic as a coach because I'm not just teaching people how to reach a goal, like I'm helping them build something that they can sustain for life.
I'm Coach Brandon, Brandon Wu. I am from Bay Area, San Francisco, East Bay. Strength and conditioning coach. I've been coaching for now over 12 years. Uh, Definitely started in-person training, and then when you guys reached out back in 2019, started working with you guys through Everfit, and I've been able to integrate a lot of online training and
Your business is called Winning Mentality Fitness. What does winning mentality mean to you, and how do you instill that in your clients?
it kind of came from Mamba mentality. If you're consistent in your workouts, you're going to see some kind of result. If you're resilient to it, right, you're going to keep pushing yourself. And then the growth, you're growing your muscles, you're learning from your mistakes. And so it's all encompassing of a winning mentality.
Your niche is kind of helping people rebuild from injury and pain for mentality fitness. What is like one moment where you really see a client truly move from like pain to recovery and then to power?
There's one client that unfortunately had two strokes before the age of 25. So she was not able to walk or even speak. So it was like starting from ground zero of I need to teach you how to use certain muscle groups. So it was a slower process, but the winning mentality side of like literally every step, no matter how big or small, is going to be a big win. So it was a year and a
Mm.
half, her being able to get from sitting to standing and then now actually moving her legs and walking. It's just like a huge win in both our books to see someone be able to walk again.
Wow, that sounds
That's
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Maybe setting smaller goals, smaller achievements, because those little small achievements will eventually stack up to bigger wins. So I think it's just all about that growth and staying consistent in whatever you're doing to become better. And eventually you'll get there. You don't have to rush it. Take your time.
What do you think the next like few to 5 years of coaching will look like in the future?
Even new coaches coming in now are gonna have access to all the stuff that I'm learning or coaches my age are learning. So if anything, they might be a better coach than I am in terms of like using this technology and creating a better environment for their clients and streamlining their business. So it's really about just learning with the times and being able to adapt and adjust to what's being handed in front of us.
My name is Jonathan Helton. I am the CEO of Game Point Performance. We train ultimate frisbee players primarily. I personally played for Team USA for 8 years and played professionally for about 10. I was a two-time MVP.
You mentioned you have been like a two-time UFA MVP, Team USA standout, and the world champion in Ultimate. How did your career as an athlete, elite athlete, lead you to into coaching?
Yeah, I think It's one of those classic, if you're wanting to be the best, then you try to look for whatever edge you can get, and you're very motivated and driven. So for me, if I wanted to get the most out of my athleticism, I had a great base, but you always kind of want to jump higher. You want to be able to sprint faster. I wanted to know how to do those things, and so it led me on a path of trying to figure out what I needed to know about sprinting mechanics to improve my ability to sprint. And then, I want to make my teammates around me better. So I can't just do it at such a minimal level of knowledge where it just benefits me. I want to know more about it so that I can help my teammates. Ultimate Frisbee is a team sport, and you can't win on your own. You can't even score really on your own. So it's you need like really strong relationships, and you need really strong teammates in order to have success. So the pursuit of being the best player I could possibly be certainly led me down the road of becoming a coach.
What's something that you've learned since becoming a coach?
I think one of the biggest things I've learned is humility in coaching. At first, whenever you start to coach, you learn things that you would consider to be right or wrong about how a thing should be done. And the longer you coach, the more you realize that something you thought was right is arguably wrong, or something about the way that you were teaching it was wrong, and that thing was undermining the success of whatever you were aiming to do.
When you hear about never not building, what does that mean to you personally?
Yeah, I think that as a phrase resonates with something very core to me as a person, and as an athlete. You could say that they have like a superpower, right? And I'm always looking for making little sacrifices so that I can take steps forward. And if you have little steps back, that's fine, but it's over manageable amounts of time. Maybe it's 2 weeks, maybe it's a month, maybe we're talking about 6 months, maybe it's a year, where you can track progress. That is something that is core to me and has been very elemental in my success.
Yeah, and I think that's something that we're really very passionate about, and I think is really in our core as well. What would be some advice that you have for like this new generation of coaches?
I think the greatest advice I have is like be very curious about every aspect that's important to your clients and listen to them. They'll tell you what their concerns are. And if you become competent in all of those areas, whether it's nutrition or different types of movement or strength training or speed or whatever it may be, then you will become somebody that's very useful. And being useful is fundamentally necessary to be a good coach. And then, of course, while you're being useful, you can develop really deep relationships with those clients as well. So I'd say use your curiosity, leverage it, make yourself more competent as a result of that curiosity.